Hello lovelies, how are you? I'm going to try and make this really brief. So you remember when you came to see me and we spoke about operant conditioning, which is the control of neural activity, really how we perform new behaviours, and operant conditioning. You all remember Pavlov rang the bell when he was feeding the dogs salivated, which was a conditioned response, which then formed a behaviour, so that when he then rang the bell without giving the food, the dog salivated to give that conditioned response. So I, a number of years ago, started using this with dogs for recall. And so what I've done with all the puppies that I feed is every single time I feed them, which is 4 meals a day, every day until they're 12 weeks, every single time I feed them, I make a particular noise. Now, my usual noise for my own dogs is a very loud whoop, whoop, and it carries quite a long way. But I realised that not everybody wants to do that. So with these puppies, I used here every single time I put the food down. So I didn't make them wait. There's no waiting. This is not about obedience. This is about pure conditioned response. So much the same, you remember, as when I held my hand out, and people, you also, when you were here, you thought it was a bit odd, but you got the drift that when you hold your hand out to somebody, when you reach for a cup or when you reach for something, it's pure operant conditioning. It's what your muscle memory has learned to do. So I don't know whether you've been doing that, and probably most likely you've been calling the dog by its name, which is inconsistent. And if you're calling the dog in a variety of different tones and different commands, then the dog's getting no consistency. And furthermore, you are carrying connotations of stress. You might be a bit cross that the dog's not come back. You might be frustrated. You might be panicky because the dog's running towards a road or to people. So nothing's consistent. You're not using any consistency there at all, by saying, come on, come over here, there's a good girl, come on, yeah, come on now, come on, yeah, oh, come on, hurry up. It's all too different. Whereas if you can stick to one thing, I don't use a whistle, because if you don't have a physical whistle with you when you're out, you won't be able to whistle when you're running after your dog. Literally, your larynx will seize up because you'll be panicking. It's impossible to whistle. But what you can do is you can always fall back on here. Now, the second part of that, so for 28 days, solidly, every single meal, and you are not to sit your dog down beforehand. I'd really rather you didn't. It's all about here. Those of you who are show training, you might want to say here and hold the bowl up and stack the puppy. That's fine, but not preceding it with an obedience, because it has to be free will. So what you'll then do at 28 days, because that's how long it takes to embed muscle memory. So what you'll then do, how am I doing on time? Oh, Jesus, 3 minutes already. What you'll then do is, I'm going to do part 2 on this, because otherwise it's going to take too long to upload.